In this video, let's look at starter prompts that also include context. Remember, in the world of prompt engineering, adding context to your prompts is a critical factor. This is how you get much better responses. So we'll look at some examples here in different categories, and I'll put them in here into ChatGPT. So let's start with some writing exercise prompts. So the very first one I'm going to write is write about a day in the life of a stray dog in a big city. So this has a lot more context than our simpler prompts that we used in the very beginning. Now this has multiple different elements to it, so we're going to get a much more complete answer, but we're going to evolve on this as well. This is just given a context, but we didn't give it output format, for example, so it doesn't know really what to do. It just gave us a long story with a bunch of different paragraphs. So we'll improve on that, but this is a good place to get started. I'll give you another writing prompt here, a couple more. So this one, imagine you found a door in your house that you've never seen. Describe what you find when you open that door. So these are all about writing exercise type prompts. This could help you with all kinds of different things in the world of creative writing, for example. I have read through some of these when I was first recording this, and it's pretty interesting. Some of the answers that it's going to give you is really going to open up the whole world of possibilities here once you practice. So I'll give you one more writing exercise and we'll move on from writing. This one could be a little bit more practical, but write a letter from a perspective of a historical figure during a pivotal moment in their life. Obviously, you could change historical figure to a very specific person. Pivotal moment in their life, you could tell it exactly what moment that was, and then you could try a prompt like that. And you could see this time, because we told it to write a letter, it's writing it in letter format. Again, we don't know the length because we did not specify the length. So we're going to look at some more prompt engineering here to really tailor this. But right here, all these are showing you what happens when you give it a little bit of context. The next set of examples, we're going to look at role-playing prompts. So let me give it an example here. So here's a role-playing prompt. You are a detective in a noir film trying to solve a complex murder mystery. Your partner has just handed you a crucial piece of evidence. And this time he kind of wrote this really interesting story, but in a form of a role play. So it actually started talking. It has quotation marks around the parts where it's talking and the other person's talking. So a really cool way for it to role play with another fictional character. Here's another role playing example. You're an astronaut who just landed on an alien planet. What do you see? How do you report it back to Earth? So you're putting it in a very specific place, so it has to role play as that person, as that astronaut. As an astronaut who just landed, the sight before me is both awe-inspiring and perplexing, right? So it's actually writing in first person as that person, as the astronaut. So it's role playing. The other example of role playing I mentioned, when you give a context and you ask it to act as your potential client, for example, and you can have that kind of back and forth as well. But in the creative mode, I'm showing you some of these. We'll get to the marketing side and role play that way in the marketing section. Now, let me show you a story prompt. So this way you could set up the stage for a story and let it take it from here. A group of friends discover a secret portal in their school library that leads to a different part of history. So this is setting up the story, and then you could actually try to complete that story here. Now, it's done an okay job, but remember, this context is missing some elements to it, right? I didn't ask it to act as my writing partner, for example, or I didn't give it context like I'm trying to write a mystery book. Can you help me? The concept is a group of friends, right? So when you miss those, sometimes it doesn't really know which direction to take it. So this is a good example of adding more to these story type of prompts. So here, again, this is a good way to get started, but it's much better if you tell it what you're trying to do. But we'll build on that right now. I just wanted to give you just a one piece of context that you should be adding, and then we'll add more as we go. Now, let me share with you this conversational or debate style type of prompt. And these are really helpful if you start with, I want to have a debate around this topic, or I want to have a conversation about this, or help me figure this out. Is there a correlation between mental health and social media use? Just the article I read online, I took the title for it, and it says, certainly, what's your stance? So I give it my reasoning here, and in this case, it agrees with me. Sometimes you could ask it to take the other side of the argument and try to disagree with you to see what his point is. So these are really good conversational style or debate style prompts. Now, the last example I'll show you here is the essay type of prompt. So write me an essay about the causes and impacts of the 2008 financial crisis. And it's going to give it a title. It's going to have all the parts of an essay. So introduction, you broke things into a numbered list. Maybe here I could follow up and say, I don't want this in a numbered list, rewrite it in a different way. But it has introduction, it has a body, and it has a conclusion. I could always expand it here. It looks like it stopped. So sometimes I have to press continue generating, which it was just missing a few pieces here. So these are useful. These are called essay prompts. Again, all these have a little bit of context. They're not perfect, but this is taking us from a very simple basic prompt that we looked at in the beginning to the next step, which is adding context. In the next video, we'll take it a step further and I'll show you something that takes prompt engineering a little bit further.